Welcome to Inverkenny Junction. Today we're going to do a layout tour and cover some of the construction. The time period for the layout is 1985 and it's based on the Inverness and Aberdeen areas. The layout is O gauge with full DCC control and sound. Construction started around 10 months ago and it's an L-shaped end-to-end layout, approximately 12 foot by 9 foot. The original plan was just to have a loco shed, or TMD as it's now called, but I later realised I'd have room for a station as well if I extended the layout into an L shape. The eventual plan is to relocate the layout and extend the layout on this end with a fiddle yard and maybe even extend the station further as well. As I said, the original plan was just to have a TMD, so I constructed an 8x2 board, which you can see here. This had two main lines at the front, with the loco shed at the rear. Once all the track work was done, the board was flipped up to wire all the droppers and had the Cobalt digital IP point motors. Control of the layout is done by an ECOS command station. This puts out 5 amps at around 21 volts, which is ideal for O gauge. I did originally have a power cab, but I only put out about 1.5 amps. It's okay for one loco running slow, but that was about it. The power cab only put out around 15 volts as opposed to up to 21 volts with ECOS. That makes a big difference at O gauge. Smaller gauges do want lower voltages, typically 15 volts for N, maybe 16, 17 for double O, and as much as you can get away with really for O gauge, up to about 21 volts. ECOS allows you to draw in your track plan and control your point motors. The points highlighted in yellow are all controlled by point motors with switched frogs. The two sets of points on the lower part of the screen are just electro frog, as I've yet to add the point motors. They work okay most of the time, but I do get the odd short occasionally. So this is a view of the left side of the layout, and as you can see I've now flipped the main board over, so the two main lines are at the rear. The outer radius is 4 foot and the inner one is 3 foot 6. I've made a separate video showing the problems with the 3 foot 6 radius. Pretty much everything will run on the 4 foot, but the 3 foot 6 is very tight. To make the back scene, I just screwed some 4mm ply to the wall, and as you can see I've just hand painted the back scene. I did look at commercially available back scenes, but there wasn't really anything that seemed suitable. It's still work in progress and I've got a lot of detail to add to it, but the basic shape of the mountains is now in place. I wanted to sort of give the impression of the mountains overpowering the scene. The height of the back scene is around 2 foot, and you really need that really if you're going to take low down photos or video. The most realistic shots are ones like this, taken at eye level, looking up, and you really need the 2 foot height on the back scene for these angles to work. So going back to the left side of the layout, we've got a small HGV depot here next to the two main sheds. The two main sheds are Hellion diesel depot kits. There's like a half shed there and a full length one. I wanted a half shed because I acquired this 37 body. I plan to sort of cut it up and have a 37 in bits there. I've already got a couple of bogies from West Hill Wagon Works and a 37 engine, which I'm hoping to fit inside the 37 or have it halfway up or something. The track on the half shed is wired up to the ECOS controller, so we can have locos, lights on and stuff, but the track isn't actually connected to the main layout. I didn't want to take space up in the main shed with a loco in bits, so this seemed the obvious solution. At first I wasn't sure I had to finish the roof on the Hellion sheds, but in the end I just stuck on some corrugated printed paper, which seems to look okay. Panning further around, we've got what is the only scenic break on the layout, just a small tunnel that's long enough for a couple of coaches on each line. The head shunt on the two middle lines is only really long enough for one loco, so the eventual plan is to extend this into the fiddle yard as and when I add that. So this upper section above the retaining wall extends all the way around the layout, and I was sort of thinking of adding another track there so I could experiment with automatic running, but I haven't really decided whether I'll do that or not yet. Further around, we've got the diesel fueling point and the coach washing plant. Both these are Bachmann scenic items. I'm still not sure about the lock on the back seam. It looks fine from a high angle, but if you take a low down shot, it looks like the water's up in the sky, which looks a bit stupid. Further around, we've got a small Pico signal box and a signing on shed for the depot. This is another Bachmann scenic item. Looking further around, we come into the station area. There's 3 platforms. The 2 longer ones are suitable for 3 coaches and a loco. The 3rd platform is only really suitable for a single car DMU, or maybe 1 loco and a couple of wagons. The platforms are cardboard kits by L-Cut Creative. Here you can see what they look like before they're painted. Painting these can be very difficult. If you use a brush, it just looks terrible, so the best way is with an airbrush to put on several really light coats. For ballast, I originally started with a fine grey. I didn't really like that, so then I got a coarser grey ballast. I still wasn't happy with that, so I tried mixing the 2 together. Around this time, I started travelling on the far north line and the lines out of Inverness, and really noticed that all the ballast up there was a red colour. Here's a couple of photos of the ballast at Perth. I was reluctant to spend any more money on ballast, but looking around outside, I had some Type 2 hardcore left over from a building project. This had come out of a local quarry up here in Scotland, so it was exactly the colour I was looking for. It was a mixture of anything from dust right up to rocks of about 40mm diameter. So this required washing and sieving, but eventually I ended up with ballast between about 3 and 5mm. As soon as I put it down, I could see it looked much more like the type of ballast used in the far north of Scotland. This was then glued down in the traditional way with a 50-50 mix of PVA and water. After allowing a couple of days for it to dry, I painted the sides of the rails with acrylic burnt sienna. This is the perfect rust colour. The final touch was to spray paint the sleepers with acrylic black. As time goes on, I've added more black, particularly around the entrances to stations and where locos would be idling. And in the refuelling point, I've added even more black, so it's absolutely filthy. The more filth and grot I seem to add to the track, the better it seems to look. So going back to the station, I really need to add some kind of station building and canopy. I've been thinking about this for a while and looking for a decent kit. I've now found Pop-Up Designs who do an excellent range of Scottish station buildings and canopies. These are available in N, OO and O gauge. So I think I'll be getting one of these in the near future and building it up. So I've been away from the hobby for some time, and when I saw DCC I was really intrigued. The advantages it could offer, such as running more than one loco on the same track at the same time, not to mention the sound, made it really interesting. I'm an electronics engineer by trade, so straight away I started looking into the technical aspects of DCC. The sound and how it's programmed I found particularly interesting. I looked at OO gauge, as that's what I used to model before, but when I saw the new range of diesels from Hellion in O gauge, straight away I thought that's the way to go. The larger size would obviously allow room for a much larger speaker and obviously a much better sound. I ordered up a Glass 37, then I ordered a Locksound 5XL decoder with a 37 sound file. Shortly after that I ordered a Locksound programmer and straight away began playing around with the different function settings. Whilst playing around with some CV settings, I managed to completely erase the sound file. So I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose now, I might as well program my own sound file. Fast forward a year and I've now developed sound files for virtually every class of BR diesel. One of the things I found annoying with off-the-shelf sound files is the function numbers are always different between one file and another. So programming your own allows you to keep all the function numbers the same for every logo. We can now supply these sound files programmed into an ESU decoder. I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and please hit the like and subscribe buttons.